What's up, guys?
It's your girl, Misha.
It's your boy, Nard.
We're the Eminem family. I almost messed up. You threw me off. But anyway, guys, it's the Eminem family. We're doing a reaction to, let me look at the title because it was a bit long. Rich Black Talking Heads who say America is keeping black people down. Okay. It's a very interesting topic. So I don't know what to expect from Thomas Sowell. So you got something to say, mate?
I'm just curious to see what this video is about. Like, we can jump straight into it.
Just jump straight into it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's jump straight into it, like he says.
Rich black people. We start with Don Lemon.
This is CNN Tonight. I'm Don Lemon. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
Now, for a man who routinely complains about racial oppression, Mr. Lemon is doing pretty well. How well?
Show me the money.
Celebrity Net Worth estimates that Don Lemon has a net worth of $10 million. Much of that wealth likely comes from his CNN salary, which is estimated to be in the millions of dollars. He also owns a home in Sag Harbor, New York, which he purchased in 2016 for $3.1 million, as well as a condo in New York's Harlem neighborhood. End of quote. But although he's a public figure, apparently not everybody knows who Mr. Lemon is. Now, God forbid you should run into him and not show him the appropriate amount of respect, as actor Jonah Hill found out.
He was at a hotel and he ran into Jonah Hill, and apparently it wasn't a good meeting between the two.
Supposedly, Don said hi, Jonah shook his hand, and moved on. But Don felt disrespected and ignited a Twitter war. Quote, said hi to Jonah Hill in hotel, think he thought I was Bellman. A lesson to always be kind.
It sounds like he's assuming that Jonah Hill should have known who he is.
What did he really want him to do? I don't get it.
Probably something along the lines of,
Oh, Don Lemon, the famous reporter. Oh, CNN, I love you.
Aw.
How do you feel about that, babe?
Man, nobody don't know him. No, you don't know him. I didn't even know who he was.
I mean, just like me, if I ever became famous, nobody gonna know who I am. Oh, who is Misha?
I mean, if you're famous, they should know who you are. I mean, he's just a CNN. Everybody don't watch CNN. I don't, so you know.
Famous reporter that's well known, but you know.
To only people in his bracket, like my daddy watched CNN, so I honestly didn't know who he was. Seriously, I didn't. So if I seen him walk past me today, I probably just really, still right now, I probably still think like he's.
I mean, I only know him when he's on the TV, so.
Yeah, I don't know, guys.
Let's get back into it.
Aw. Now, what did Jonah Hill say about all of this?
Jonah wasn't having any of it. He tweeted, I said hi. What are you going to do? Move in with you? I was in a hurry. I didn't realize you were a 12-year-old girl. Peace.
Notice what Lemon did here. He whipped out the race card. Jonah Hill must have thought I was a bellman. But no, Mr. Hill, Mr. Lemon is decidedly not a bellman.
I'm a human being, damn it! My life has value!
Now, the next rich black host telling non-rich black people that racism is stopping them from becoming rich and black? Van Jones.
Greetings, I'm Dan Jones. This is the Dan Jones Show.
And Mr. Jones, of course, is a foot soldier in the battle against institutional, systemic, and structural racism. Remember election night, 2016?
We've talked about race. I mean, we've talked about everything but race tonight. We've talked about income. We've talked about class. We've talked about region. We haven't talked about race. This was a white lash. This was a white lash against a changing country. It was a white lash against a black president in part. And that's the part where the pain comes.
Just how bad is it out there? Real bad.
People have talked about a miracle. I'm hearing about a nightmare. It's hard to be a parent tonight for a lot of us. You tell your kids, don't be a bully. You tell your kids, don't be a bigot. You tell your kids, do your homework and be prepared. And then you have this outcome, and you have people putting children to bed tonight and they're afraid of breakfast. They're afraid of, how do I explain this to my children? I have Muslim friends who are texting me tonight saying, should I leave the country?
Goodness gracious sakes alive, every man for himself. But White Lash has not stopped Mr. Jones. Now, we don't know his salary or his net worth, but check out this little nugget from a celebrity gossip magazine. Van Jones has quite a great earning through his professional career as a news commentator, author, and attorney. Jones has managed to amass a great fortune in millions of dollars through his several attorney projects, shows, and his books. End of quote. Next, we have CNN contributor and Democratic strategist Bakari Sellers.
I think that the comparison that Jeffrey made is intellectually disingenuous at best. And what we saw him do was pervert one of the greatest pieces of literature that we've seen in a very long period of time, in over 100 years, the letter from the Birmingham jail. Do you understand that some people look at me as being inherently dangerous because I'm a black male? Do you get that? Do you understand? As Stokely Carmichael once said, a white man who wants to lynch me, that is his problem. A white man who has the power to lynch me, that is my problem. Racism is a question of power, not a question of attitude.
Oh my goodness, everybody down to the bomb shelter. May I point out that when you're talking about black, white, violent interracial crimes, excluding homicide, there are roughly 500,000. Roughly 90%.
Say this before we continue. I don't think anyone is stopping black people from being rich, period. I just wanted to comment on that. I feel like, like you said, every man for his service, whatever you put your mind to, and however you do it, it's how you do it. I don't think anybody is stopping anyone from becoming rich, I think it's just a mental thing, honestly. What you got to say?
True enough, these guys is wealthy, so I don't really pretty much
they write books.
And they have their own shows. Well, two of them have their own show. One of them's a host on CNN. One has his own show. One's just a politic. I guess just a debater. Yeah. So.
All right.
Of them are black perpetrator, white victim, only 10% the other way around. So who exactly should be afraid of whom, Mr. Sellers? Speaking of Mr. Sellers, apparently this fear has not stopped him from becoming really, really rich. The Bakari Sellers net worth is estimated around $5 million. He earned the good income from his political career. Now his contribution to the show CNN is quite popular these days. Bakari is indulged in various jobs which help him to generate good revenue. End of quote. Next up, Mark Lamont Hill, no relation to Jonah, whose motto ought to be, the race card. Do not leave home without it.
In 2012, you created a list of overrated white people.
Yes.
And Donald Trump was on that list.
He was. I'm a visionary. So now here in America, we say there's a moral failure of police violence. There's a moral failure of police terrorism at times. And there's a moral failure of gun culture for all people. We need to change that. When the Charlottesville events first happened, the president didn't denounce anything. His statements that there are good people on both sides raises moral, ethical, and just very practical question marks.
Actually, Mr. Hill, Trump did denounce neo-Nazis and white supremacists, as ultimately acknowledged by even two of your colleagues on CNN.
So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
Now, elsewhere in those remarks, the president did condemn neo-Nazis and white supremacists. So he's not saying that the neo-Nazis and white supremacists are very fine people, but he is saying people protesting alongside those neo-Nazis and white supremacists are very fine people.
Within the last 10 days, I know that I made reference to those words from the president, and I had a phone caller who called and said, that is not what the president said. Now, having invested the time to go back and zapruder the tape, I think the caller's right, and I think you're right. I think it's true. He'd have done himself a favor if he had verbalized it the way you have with the words monument debate.
Apart from that, Mr. Hill nailed it. Now, he and I had an exchange about Ferguson and about Michael Brown. Bakari Sellers insisted that the police were routinely mowing down unarmed black men. And I told him, of all the people killed by black people every single year, the police kill but a tiny, tiny fraction.
Two things. One, I think your earpiece could be broken because the question was on mental health, and you once again go back to the pathologies of the black community. That's stunning to me. But
why do you have to insult me all the time? Why can't you address what I said rather than insulting me? Why is that necessary? Can't we have a discussion as two black men without insulting each other? Is that possible? Can we try and do that, please?
Larry, I haven't insulted you. Larry, I'm not insulting you. What I'm responding to is
you said I was sounding a dog whistle. Why do Republicans always use a dog whistle?
I didn't say.
Why don't you do with what I said? The merits of what I said. Nice. For a change, Lamont. I watch you all the time. You talk over people. You don't listen to the merits of what they say.
You're talking over me. Like, first of all, okay, a few things. I never said dog whistle. Second, you're saying engage what you talked about.
You did.
I just talked. Let me finish. I didn't. When you rewind this, you'll realize you were wrong. What I just spoke about was mental health in the black community. What I just spoke about was mental health in the black community, and you responded by talking about black people and believing that racism still exists. You totally didn't acknowledge my question or respond to my comment. So let's not talk
I want us to have perspective and talk about what's important, but you won't do that.
Oh no! Well, you don't get to decide what's important. You don't. We all have opinions here. I made a comment. I wanted you to respond to it, but I'll respond to your comment.
You think the problem of unarmed black people is a major problem in America, and I don't.
Okay, so well, let me tell you what I think now that you've spoken. There are two issues here. You mentioned black on black crime. You say that that's a problem. I agree with you that it's a problem.
It's a huge problem. A massive problem.
Larry, I agree with you.
One voice, gentlemen. One voice. Mark.
I agree with Larry Elder that black on black violence is an issue. I absolutely agree with him. So let's not argue about what we both agree on. I agree. But if this study bears out, and it does, that at least that every 28 hours an unarmed black person is killed, then that also is a problem. Is it as big a problem as this other issue?
That means it's less than 2% of the total, Lamont. Less than 2% of the total. 7,000 black people killed every year. Less than 2% are killed by police officers in an unarmed way. So why don't we talk about the 98%? And many of these murders in Chicago are unsolved. At least we know what happened in the Michael Brown case. Now, despite the racist
that's a lot. 98% is a lot. I could say I agree when he said that 98% unarmed black Americans are killed by police officers. I could totally agree with that.
He's saying black on black crime. 98% of black people kill black people.
No, he said something about the cops as well.
Yeah, the cops. He said several percent of.
Well, I can agree with that still.
Yeah. So,
as far as the black on black crime, now I could totally agree with that because it happens all the time. You're seeing on the news people shooting at or Nipsey Hussle. Was it another black gentleman that killed that young man?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I understand what he was talking about as far as mental health. You know, guys, a lot of people.
But this is hate crimes. These are hate crimes.
And envy you. So you can be the top dude in your group right now, and somebody behind you will stab you in your back because they envy you. They hate on you. They don't hate you probably. They just hate on you. They want your position. So that's why I think a lot of that come from. You know, I just want to keep going, man.
I feel like, honestly, when it comes to black on black crime, it can be hate crimes. It can be anything, really. I see you, and it's a mental thing, like you said. It could be anything, really. So, yeah. Yeah, let's continue.
Cops mowing down black people. Somehow, some way, Mr. Hill, who has an Ivy League degree, has managed to do okay. How okay? Mark Lamont Hill, net worth and salary. Mark Lamont Hill is an activist who has a net worth of $1 million. End of quote. Can you just imagine how big his net worth would be if it weren't for all those racist cops holding him back? Next up, Joy Ann Reid of MSNBC. Hee-haw.
Good morning and welcome to AM Joy.
Now, she too is in the vanguard of the fight against racism and against prejudice.
That didn't last long. Having read the talking points that were scrambled into his hands by nervous Republicans for almost an entire day, Donald Trump pulled a full Charlottesville today. That racist rant by New York attorney Aaron Schlossberg is just the latest viral video putting a spotlight on bigotry in America. And lastly, you've lost the right to rattle on about the party of Lincoln and Reagan. You are now the party of Donald Trump, the party of the alt-right, of Breitbart.com. You've ratified Trump's vulgarity, his crassness. You saw exactly who and what he was, and you chose it. You're going to have to own that.
Now, speaking of bigotry, did you know about Joy Ann Reid's blog post circa 2007, 2008, in which she said some pretty hideous things about gays? Hadn't heard about that? Didn't think so.
Long before this week, Reid was already under pressure for homophobic blog posts more than a decade old. One post suggests Anderson Cooper is the gayest thing on TV, writing that most straight people cringe at the sight of two men kissing. A Twitter user first discovered many of the anti-gay posts, including one that calls homosexual sex gross. Reid's original explanation? Hackers. She hired a cybersecurity expert to investigate, and her attorney said the FBI had opened a probe. In a statement, he suggested the alleged hackers may have found a password on the dark web to access Reid's account.
Frankly, I couldn't imagine where they'd come from or whose voice that was.
But hey, don't blame her. After all, she was hacked.
I've spent a lot of time trying to make sense of these posts. I hired cybersecurity experts to see if somebody had manipulated my words or my...
Before going on, I want to say, even if, you know, like you said, it's her opinion, but it's the way you say things. People can sit here and say, not just, you know, it's nothing against, I guess, how would I say it? People that has different taste for for different things. It's her opinion, but you want to be respectful. You know, others, you know, people can say, oh, Black Americans this, or white Americans this. You know, you want to be respectful of other people and how they're living. If that's how they're living, then, you know, that's how they're living. You can't judge nobody. And you're not even in a better situation than they are, so.
True.
How you feel about it?
I mean, true. I just feel like everybody entitled to their opinion. You can't get offended when somebody says something, rather however they say it or not. You know, you just can't get offended. If, you know, it's true, you just can't. Or honestly, all in all, it's their opinion.
It's an opinion, but I feel like you could watch what you say. Just like, you know, I get real offensive when people say things about my children because, you know, but you want to sit here and say, oh, it's an opinion. No, those are my kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's just only different if, okay, they is entitled to that, you know what I'm saying? But it's a way you can say things, but sometimes people can say things and really don't mean no disrespect. Like, they just really don't, but they ought to clear that before they speak. So we both can have a verbal understanding of what's going on. So,
be opinionated all day. Let's just be respectful and opinionated.
That's all what it boils down to.
Former blog. And the reality is they have not been able to prove it. But here's what I know. I genuinely do not believe I wrote those hateful things.
But then...
I had a conversation the other day with a friend who's also an advocate in the LGBTQ community in Florida, who rightly took me to task for my tweets mocking Ann Coulter using transgender stereotypes. I apologize to my friend, and I want to apologize to the trans community and to Ann. Those tweets were wrong and horrible. I look back today at some of the ways I've talked casually about people and gender identity and sexual orientation, and I wonder who that even was. But the reality is that, like a lot of people in this country, that person was me.
Well, for a Harvard-educated recovering homophobe, Miss Reid is doing rather well. Joy Ann Reid has a net worth of $4 million, and her salary is $1.5 million per annum. Joy and her husband are owners of a documentary film company, Image Lab Media Group, end of quote. Like I said, this is cable news, where rich Black people tell non-rich Black people how racism stops them from becoming rich Black people.
We must internalize the flatulation of the matter
by transmitting the effervescence of the Indonesian proximity in order to further segregate the crux of my venereal infection.
I'm Larry Elder, and this has been the Larry Elder Show. I'll see you next time.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Wow, man.
Oh, guys, look, man. This whole video just was a mess to me, honestly, about how black people actually do think that America's holding black people back, which is true. It's true in a lot of ways, but it's not true in a lot of ways, because a lot of these positions or these college graduates or anything and everything, they can be the best on that floor. Whatever they got a degree in, a doctorate in, or whatever, and you still got that one person in power, and they probably just really, most times, really don't want to see them elevate. Now, this guy Larry Elder, I mean, yes, these people are rich, but they're not filthy rich. You know what I'm saying? They can fall off and, you know, on hard times.
Now, as far as the title, not to cut you off, but I know I said, you know, whatever you do, you put your mind to or whatever, but I'm thinking about, like, you know, how, say, like, I had a black friend that became an RN. I was like, you know, I'm wanted to become an RN as well. What all study materials did you use? And she was like, I have them. I'll bring them to you. I don't know if she forgot or.
I mean, she's a registered nurse, so you can't say that if you really want something, you'll go figure out the access for yourself as well. So I'm just saying, for him to bash these people and for him to talk about black on black crime, okay, people talking black on black crime, but as well, these people are stuck in a project or a neighborhood that, you know what I'm saying, at the time they only can do what they can, where I'm talking like teenagers, you know what I'm saying, by the time they be adults, they probably been screwed up so much for just trying to make a way or living. So that's how,
black man's problem.
But it's not, but I'm just saying that starts a lot of chaos when you got 200, 300 other people in the same neighborhood as you that got the same hunger and the same attitude as you. So don't come on my block while I'm trying to eat at. Don't come on my block while I'm trying to eat at. Period. That's why that's why black on black crime come from. You know what I'm saying? And today they blame, the father's not home, the father's not under the roof and not in the house. Yeah, which is true and may have self. But, you know, if that case happens, you don't make the situation no better by, okay, even though this worked both ways. But to me, child support really, really, really is designed to keep all fathers, all races down. So to me, honestly, with this video, it really is a trip to me. It's all opinionated. It's not about when he tried to argue with the guy over black on black crime. Police are bad with killing black people. Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it official. Let's just
somebody
keep
can
it.
Make that change though. It can take for example, freedom riders. Was it freedom riders?
Okay, even
express themselves through
right. So
struggles.
So the last incident we basically had was big riot when everybody rioting for George Floyd. So they put Black Lives Matter, gave them a screen, even though that was a joke. You know what I'm saying? That Black Lives Matter, what they did, you know what I'm saying, was very cruel, and it really, really, really just made, you know, the culture look bad. To me, honestly, it's just, you know, it still starts with that. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got boys, you know what I'm saying? You know, we got sons, you know what I'm saying? I have to prepare my sons for that, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that, you know, they're going to go through. They're going to witness with the law, you know what I'm saying? And who can say if they innocent, you know what I'm saying? If they innocent and something happened, they're not going to just mess with a group of, you know, just clean air. They're not going to really mess with a group of white folks. Period. They're just not. So far as America keeping black folks down, I don't believe that. I'm just going off topic, talking about what they was talking about on there. These people are rich. Don't get me wrong. They is in a position to help the culture. You know what I'm saying? I don't really see nobody that's doing that, far as they just going on these shows talking about how black people are being abused and stuff like that. But, you know, everybody could be everything they want to be, man. You know, I don't think nobody can't be nothing they don't want to be. If you put your mind on something and you really want to do it, you gonna do it.
I mean, it's just like the proof, you know, just the proof is in the pudding, like you said the other day. But just looking at that net worth and how far they've come from being either lawyers, from book writers, you know.
And who says how hard it was for them to even get in that position they in? You know what I'm saying? This thing worked two ways to me, honestly. He should not go on here clowning them about how America, black people say America keeping rich black folks, saying how America's keeping black people down. It's just like, come on, man. Like, for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta think, like, that does happen. And it happens often. It happens a lot. In a lot of scenarios, man. Like, any job or whatever. Like, I heard people say they got lawsuits for this stuff, man. And, you know, it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? But at all, you know what I'm saying? This video honestly kind of irritated me, honestly, being real with you, because, you know, to me it wasn't funny. You know what I'm saying? It was real, just, you know, it's kind of like he really got a thrill out of doing that, and he trying to make them look stupid. You know what I'm saying? But then again, they did look crazy, but he also looked crazy too. Period. Like, I mean, if I'm telling you these people trying to keep me down and you gonna make jokes about it, I mean, come on. Like, let's be real about it. What's funny about that? To me, it's nothing funny about that. It's very, very stupid. And it's childish, honestly, being real with you. Like, this video, honestly. So, I mean, you can just, you know, guys, black, white, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, I don't care what y'all is, man. Y'all can be anything y'all want to be. Put y'all minds to it. Don't let nobody stop you. Hey, if you got a blockage in the road, move on to the next. Create your own lane. So you maybe can build your own business and be your own boss. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's what it's just about. I mean, I'm not going to say America's keeping people down. America is full of opportunities. Every day. You know what I'm saying? Is it ran right as a country? No. Of course not. You know what I'm saying? Is the working people treated right? No. Of course not. You know what I'm saying? Is the rich going to be richer? Yes, always will be. You know what I'm saying? So the poor are going to continue being poor? Yes, that's just America's way. You know what I'm saying? People may not believe that, but hey, that's just America's way. You know what I'm saying? If you're working on a 9 to 5 for 30, 40 years and you get what? You get retirement, and you got to be almost dead to get that. You know what I'm saying? Social Security or whatever, you know? So it's like, come on, man. You know, at this point of time, I feel like all of us as black, white, Hispanic, Puerto Rican, Indian, Haitian, whatever, that's in America, just need to come together. The 9 to 5 workers and lower class people, as they consider, has to come together, man, because we really the ones got the power, you know? These people up here in them offices, White House is rich, you know what I'm saying? Just let everybody know Biden's not doing a good job. Seriously, I don't know, just jump from another subject or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, the whole thing to this is you can be whatever you want to be. Black, shouldn't have nobody keeping you down to, you know, succeed and be the best at what you're going to be in life. You know what I'm saying? America's not going to get in the way of that, to me, honestly. You know, they do have a way of doing that some ways and somewhat, but it's a way you can work around it. You know what I'm saying? Be your boss, man. Be your own boss. And really, what they going to stop then? Can't stop nothing too much then. So this video is just, to me, is just petty. It's childish. It's very dumb. You know, that's really it. You know, it's just, as a black man, I don't believe in black on black crime. I don't, affiliate myself with that, because I'm only going to try to help the next person, whether you black or you white. You feel me? So it's all about doing better. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just not, if they're rich already, I'm not going to down that guy. I'm not going to down them for their opinion. If that's how they feel, that's how they feel. You rich. Just because you rich, you know what I'm saying? You know, honestly, guys, we don't know what they do outside of their jobs. They probably help a lot of black folks, you know? Who knows, you know? But he go in here and try to make a joke about him, and it's just like, what are you doing for the culture? You know, by doing this. So, you guys let me know in the comments how y'all feel.
All right, and we're going to wrap it up right there, guys. But until the next video, guys, much love. We love y'all. Comment down below, like you said, like, and also if you're new here, subscribe. Hello and welcome. But until the next video, guys, peace.